Anthony Wayne, you go over there, and it's like instant success over there. And there was no real learning curve, was there?
Well, no, you know, the thing about Anthony Wayne, it was, you know, number one, I had, you know, almost 15 years, 20 years, well, almost 20 years of soccer at Maumee, and had some great teams and learned a lot, and been playing that whole time too, which, you know, you learn so much playing. It's like, you know, when you're playing basketball, you learn something new every time.
Sure.
And then when I got to Anthony Wayne, you know, because I was kind of asked to come out there by Paul Hull, and I was like, you know, what's the talent level? And they had their surge of kids coming up.
Right.
And I made a quote in the paper when I got out to Anthony Wayne, this is the most talented group I'd ever coached. And a couple of my Maumee boys got really mad at me. What I meant was, from freshman to sophomore, we literally had 15 kids in every grade that were just rock solid players. Where at Maumee, we'd have 7 or 8, and then we'd have to pull a few kids in to make it up. And
sure.
I've talked to Andy since then, but and Andy, if you're watching, I still apologize. Andy Pollock, yeah, who was one of my stars.
Of course, Andy Pollock, who's now an assistant coach for Anthony Wayne football too.
Right.
So you're at Anthony Wayne. Did you think, okay, when you got there with that run of success, and you did have success, did you think this is a team that could get, you know, to the States?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said,
and win.
And win. The team we had that second year, I mean, we beat a couple state-ranked teams that year during the regular season. We won the NLL that year, and just had a really unfortunate bad thing happen to us in the tournament. And St. John's actually beat us in the tournament that year and made it, I believe, to the Final Four that year. So, you know, it was a heartbreaking loss, really ripped our souls out that day. But that was really a great team. A lot of those kids went on to play in college. Travis Baltz went on to punt and kick at University of Maryland.
Yep.
And, you know, we had a lot of athletes on that team. So, yeah, I mean, we had a lot of success at Anthony Wayne. It was the kids responded to my coaching style. They worked their butts off, and they played the system we wanted to play. And, you know, we had some really good athletes, too. So.
Yeah, no question. And, again, success at Anthony Wayne. So transition from Anthony Wayne to St. John's, I imagine that was a little bit different than maybe from the Maumee to Anthony Wayne?
Well, actually, it was really funny. I was working for the YMCA at that time and just kind of doing some stuff at the Wolf Creek branch. And I remember I came walking in the door on Friday in December, and I told Chris, I said, you know, I really miss working with kids and coaching. And went to bed Saturday night, walk out in Sunday paper. She goes, here, look, St. John's job is in the paper that 2 days later. So you have to apply for it, go get it. So I applied for it and got it, and the rest is history here. It's been a great place to work. The kids here are wonderful, parents are wonderful. Bob Renai, our AD, is amazing, and one of the best ADs I've ever worked for. And, you know, St. John's, you're always going to have talent year in and year out. And well, we've had a very good string of successes here. So, and Maumee, we built from the ground up, you know, the community and myself and my coaches and everybody. You know, AW, like I said, was already pretty well established. They just needed some tweaks and some things like that. Here you're walking into one of the oldest programs in Ohio, started back in the late 70s by Jerry Glenn. And, you know, there's a lot of pressure to win here because the people that send their kids here expect to be among the best all the time. And we knew what we were getting into, though. And, you know, I remember Joel Calkins. He was my first call when I got the job here, who was my player at Maumee and my assistant at Maumee. He took over for me when I left. And I said, hey, you want to come aboard? And I remember him coming out to one of the first practices, and he's just like, oh, my God, look at all this talent. He couldn't believe it because he'd been at Maumee where, once again, you have 7, 8 kids, and you fill in the gaps. And here we don't need to fill in gaps, really.
Right. We talked about special teams or teams that you remember. Is this a team this year here in this run, and you get the 300 with them, is this a team that you're going to remember maybe for a long time as well?
This team will definitely stand out for a long time. Number one, this was the first undefeated season I've ever had in my coaching career. 26 years, never made it through a season with no losses, and these guys went 14-0-2. They're a really good team, but the camaraderie of this team, and we have had so many challenges this year. Now, a lot of people say, how can you be undefeated and have challenges? We've had some challenges this year. We've had some behavior things. We've had some off the field things go on and stuff like that.
Happens to everybody.
Absolutely. It's high school. You know, you're going to get it. But what's great about this team is every time there's been adversity, they've risen to it, and they've played better, and they've picked each other up. So this team will really stand out. No matter what we do this year, it's already been a great year. It's track champs and wonderful success, and the 300 is special, as you say.